Okay. Hello. Hi, Leah. Hello. Hi, Leah. You can go in. It's open. Hello.
Okay.
Okay. They're here. Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Hey,
Right at the last minute.
Please open your microphone. Unmute yourself.
Oh.
It's great that you are here, Leah.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. That's the best news I have.
Leah's here.
Who's here?
Leah.
Good. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
As soon as Vinod comes, we can get started. But
Okay.
at least if Leah is here, I can talk to her.
We're on time. It's 1:29. We have 1 minute.
That's good.
Okay.
So I just spoke to Cuisine. She was
okay.
getting ready to, and Mohammed Hasnain I spoke to. So that's a good, that's a good
They
thing.
will both come. They will come, both of them.
Yes. Now, what the most important thing is you mute everybody when people are talking.
Sure.
This isn't a Monday meeting where we're casual. This is a serious meeting.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I'm ready.
Give it another 2 minutes. Once Vinod comes, I'm ready to start. So where is Leah? I don't see her. Oh, shit.
Vinod is here.
Yay. Okay, that's the only
Leah is amusing herself and no camera,
We have a lot of people here. Good. Wonderful.
Hi, Vinod.
Hi, Vinod.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Sitofi.
Salam is here.
How are you?
How are you?
Vinod.
How are you, Vinod?
Yeah, I'm fine. Absolutely. It's 11 o'clock in the night here.
Why wouldn't he be fine? I wouldn't be meeting.
Lynn, I came in time, I think.
You are perfect.
Exactly.
Hi, Salam.
Salam,
mute yourself.
Hello, Leah, and hello, Salam.
Happy Saturday. Hello.
Hi.
Happy Saturday.
Tofi, I need to address Vinod for a minute. Vinod.
Okay, go ahead.
Tell me.
I will have a date by Monday. I spoke to Gordon today. He will be able to give me the date by Monday. See, they don't let you book the room till like a month before. So by Monday, though, he'll be able to have the date because we're in the second week of October. Then I told him, I said, I need a date because Vinod needs to get his airfare. He needs to book his flight. He said, of course.
It will be in December.
He wanted to know where you're staying. I said, of course, he's staying with me.
Of course.
In December? Lynn, will it be in December?
Yes, the first week, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll come to Moroccan dishes, Vinod.
He'll be cooking.
You will have
to start cooking. You will
have everything. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just, we have Vinod, we have everybody. So I'm ready to start. When people come in, if they come, we'll talk. These are the people I really wanted here because I want to know.
Give them 5 minutes, please.
I'm talking meanwhile. I don't care about 5 minutes. So if they can't come on, too bad. Okay. The people that are here right now are the most important people to me. So let me go right ahead and say what I have to say. Let's get rid of nonsense before we get into the real thing. And I hope I'm not interrupted by this. First of all, some good news is that we will have the conference at the UN. That's the best news we could possibly have.
Yeah.
Data, I thought maybe he's giving me a runaround, but he isn't. He isn't like that. He said to me, it's just hard to get the room till that very next month. So he said if he does it in the middle of October, he can get it for the first week in December. So, and he promised me that there's no problem. So that's it. That, first of all, not only does it save us money, but it also saves us, it gives us prestige because the fact that they're allowing us to do the meeting means that there'll be some very important people. I'm going to invite some important people from there, and they would most of them want to meet you anyway. So because I've talked about you, and Sanam, you will be there. I already spoke to New York Cares. They're going to wonderful. Here's Christine. They're going to send someone and to talk about New York Cares, but you are going to speak as a volunteer, Sanam.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay. You know what? We don't have a big group, so you can unmute people now. Tofik, I thought we might have more, but with these people, everybody can everybody's going to respect each other, so I'm not really worried. Okay,
Oh,
so today's meeting is all about, Sanam, unmute yourself. Christine,
she's
unmute yourself.
unmuted.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, so I'm
Leah,
unmuting you.
Leah
Go.
and Vinod, unmute yourself because Vinod is going to be doing the opening. Okay.
Okay.
Many, many years ago, and may I say that he changed my life. No, it was not who everybody thinks it is. I read a poem in a forum, and I think it was part of iRearn, and that poem made me wonder. I took my classes to soup kitchens. I was out there all the time. I was doing this, I was doing that, but was I in the right direction? Then I read a poem by a wonderful man who turned out to be a friend and the best mentor anyone could possibly have. That started, and since I met Mr. Vinod Bhathanka, I have done nothing but work. So my lack of sleep, I owe to him. He wrote a poem, and when I read it, Vinod is partly responsible for my craziness. If you have any problems with me, complain to him. And there's one other man who couldn't be here today. His name is Joel Rubenfeld, and I don't feel right if I don't mention my Joel. Joel was the head of a, and Sanam, you'll be interested in this one. Joel was the head of a program that was for gifted and talented children. And he felt that I had certain strengths because I didn't teach to regular children. They were all poor children, but they had some that they felt were gifted and talented. And we taught in different modalities. I taught to their strengths, not their weaknesses. Like if somebody was musical, so I'd make up a song to teach them how to read. We'd read through music. If somebody was autistic, we'd read through art. We would do the words to describe it, then we'd learn to read it. And that was part of the Jacob Javits program for multiple intelligences. And that was my Joel, who I don't speak to anymore because I don't even know where he is. But wonderful, wonderful. He was actually my director of gifted programs. And one day he handed me a book. And he said, I'm giving everybody this book, but you'll be the only one to follow anything in this book. And I wondered, why did he say that to me? He said it in front of a group of people. And to me, it was annoying. You should have said it to everybody, but it didn't matter. The name of the book, oh, how wonderful. Mohammed is here. The name of the book is Uncle Willie and the Soup Kitchen. I read the book to myself. I cried after I read the book. I read the book to my class. I cried as I was reading the book. If you do nothing else in your life, get this book because it is a book that would inspire you to want to get out there. Now, I know I'm talking to my choir because I have Vinod who does stuff like this. I have Christine who does stuff like this. I know Hasnain has done incredible things in Bangladesh. And Tofi has been with me in Soup Kitchen. He's gone to Soup Kitchens when I couldn't be there. And so I'm saying, and Christine does things where she is related to helping people. And yet she's the one who moved Mr. Gordon's heart. And he's bringing a mission there. He's doing 10,000 things because he was so touched with our plight for women. Then after I got the book, Uncle Willie and the Soup Kitchen, it had to be at least 12 years ago, I read a poem by a man, and Vinod Bhathanka. And I said, who is this gentleman? The poem was called Song of Hunger. Now I got absolutely hysterical after I read the poem. I must have read that poem 10 times before I even had the nerve to approach this man. And our journey, I'll call it a journey because we worked very hard as friends to get to where we are today. I have nothing but the deepest respect for this gentleman. This is the one person who's been in Lynn's kids who never once ever said to me, I need something. Never. In fact, because of him, I had to go to a strange place in upstate New York to get an award for Lynn's kids, which should have really gone to Sacramento, but that doesn't mean anything here. He is by far one of the most giving, caring people. And when you hear this poem, if you don't get up out of your chairs, no matter where you live, and say you have to do something to help people. Because I'm not, I read a lot of poetry, I write a lot of poetry. But more importantly, he's so human, what he does for his country. And this is not a man who, he's very well known, don't misunderstand me. but he's not a man that has tons and tons of money. He's a man who went into all this work for not what can I get, but for what can I give. And I wrote a book about him too. And because I tell you, he's smiling, because I have never respected anybody as much as I respect Mr. Badhanka and Mr. Malfi, both coming from India.
Yay!
Yeah, these two men, they mentored me to get to where I am today. I didn't just come in and say, oh, I'm opening Lynn's Kids. Oh, I'm opening Saving Souls Women's Network. You need people along the way to direct you. You can't say, oh, I want to open a place because I want to make money. Not only didn't I make money from Lynn's Kids, I lost money, but it was losing money in the best possible way. You were able to help other people. You were able to mentor them along the way, just like he mentored me. And if I'm saying that I want to do a project or that I expect all of us to do anything for World Food Day, it's not about World Food Day. It's about what do you do 364 days of the year to help other people. And
Yes.
nobody's holding a gun to your head or telling that you have to. It's you have to have it in your heart. And everybody that is here at this moment is someone who has it in their heart because they've all done things. And I know you've all done things. Well, we're going to open this session with a poem that if it doesn't inspire you, then I don't really know you. So I'm going to ask Vinud, my mentor, to read. I hope I don't start crying again. Look, I took my tissue with me. I'm ready to read Song of Hunger.
Okay, go, Sivinu.
I'll get to that. I just want to say hello to Mohammed Hasnain and Leah and Christine and Sanam.
And Tawfiq.
Yeah, Sitofi. As soon as I came in, I wished both of you, Lynn and Sitofi, namaskar, as we say.
Yeah.
Yeah. What this means is I see the divine in you, and I'm here to serve you. So, just a little background. As Lynn said, I'm honored to be reading out that poem, which introduced me to her. Just a little background. Whenever people like us write poetry, it's not the poetry which comes first, but the work which comes first. So before I read this, I should give you an idea of some of the work related to hunger, which has happened here. Lynn, with your permission, in a few lines. About 350 kilometers from where I live now, I live in a city called Pune. There is a river called Agrani, Agrani, Agrani. And when we went to this Agrani river in 2013, that is 9 years ago, it was a seasonal river which used to flow only for 1.5 months. The rest of the year it would be dry. And as a result, the farmers could grow their crop only once in the year. After involving 70 of the 150 villages, we are still carrying on 9 years down the line. We have managed to involve 70 of the villages.
Wow.
And they have raised 30% of the funds, 40% came from the government, and the rest we are raising from different places. As a result of the water conservation activities going on right from the mountains and up to the river, today that river flows for 9 months. And the farmers are able to take 2 to 3 crops in the year. So this is directly related to hunger and food.
Exactly.
So this is something I just wanted to share. So the emotions in a poem, they move us, but we express them because we work on the ground. I do not know if you can see the chat part of this. If you see the chat, I have placed, one minute. I have placed the first 3 verses there so that if you can read it, you will enjoy it as I am reading it. I hope you can see the chat.
Yeah.
This is just 1/3. I'll be adding the next and the next as I go on reading so that you don't end up reading all of it before I read it. So, Song of Hunger. That's my name over there, Vinod Podankar. And India is one of my 197 countries. We are all global citizens. All our countries are ours. If in any of these nations something wrong is happening, I'm responsible as one of the citizens. If something good is happening, then it is the responsibility, the good thing done by the people of my country. whichever country that is.
Mhm.
Hunger is like a beast, you know. Hunger stalks. Hunger stalks with soft footsteps, and then hunger talks. Hunger talks. Hunger talks with loud cravings, and then hunger hurts. Hunger hurts. Hunger hurts and kills the spirit, and then hunger waits.
Yeah.
I'm going to get on the rest of it.
Yeah.
I think in 3 portions it will come on.
That's wonderful.
Okay. Wonderful.
The last one I will read for continuity. Hunger hurts. Hunger hurts and kills the spirit, and then hunger waits. Hunger waits. Hunger waits for new victims, and then hunger mates. Hunger mates. Hunger mates with pain and death, and then hunger brings. Hunger brings misery for millions, and then hunger sings.
Yeah.
I can see Muhammad Hasnain
Yes,
smiling.
because
here.
we do this all
Yeah,
the time. For
very-
us, it's like
very-
singing to the choir. Go ahead.
your poem is very
Moving.
nice poem.
Yeah.
Let's complete the last 2 bits.
Okay.
Second last. So hunger brings misery for millions, and then hunger sings. Hunger sings. What does hunger say? Oh, hungry ones. Oh, hungry ones, to hurt you all I hate. But your richer brothers have turned their backs, so death has become your fate.
Sure. Correct.
Amazing.
And the
Nice, nice.
last part.
Mhm.
Your richer brothers have turned their backs, so death has become your fate. Now this is about the rich people. Do they think
Okay.
they will turn their backs and ignore you and smile? Do they think when riots come, bad deeds will not uncoil? Do they think their kids are safe if millions suffer in pain? Do they think their safety for self, their indifference will gain? Nay, thus shall it not be. The rich and poor will all alike be hurt if hunger reigns free. So this is it.
Wow.
So I'm happy
Great
that I
job.
could read this. I'm honored, Lynn, that you remember this
Oh,
right from the
oh,
beginning. Thank you so much.
One of my favorite. The only other poem that I loved as much as that poem was written by Muhammad Hasnain. I can't find it. I've looked everywhere, called Lynn's Light. I have looked everywhere, and that's why. And Lynn's Light is what encouraged me to do Lynn's Kids. Nothing else. So between
this-
Vinod and Hasnain, they both encouraged me to go on my plight. Now, without that poem and without Hasnain's magic and without Joel Rubenfeld's asking me to take part in that, I don't know. I would have still been a writer. Would I have been a hunger activist? I question myself. So that's how we're going to start. You're going to see how Mr. Bahagda turned me into like a hunger maniac, but that's okay. Here we go. This is, I'm only reading one of mine. And this is called What About the Other 364 Days?
Yes.
In 2 days, World Hunger Day appears. Soup kitchens will open. Everyone joins together to help the unfortunate and to cheer for the fact that they are serving that day, serving in their special way. Yet this basically occurs 1 day of the year. 1 day does not allay the poverty fear. Many volunteers serve every week, advocate for those who cannot speak. We are opening our doors to accept more refugees, yet we aren't taking care of our own homeless. We're not taking care of our hungry. This makes no sense to me. I understand that we are a melting pot. We must take care of our own. We certainly have not. Placing immigrants in houses with clothing and food, forgetting our homeless should be a priority. This is very, very rude. What are we doing for our very own? Those who have no housing, no home of their own. As usual, they are pushed aside. They are an embarrassment. The homeless we hide. Ask yourself what you would do if one of those homeless people were you. Protect the homeless. And one of our kids actually drew, I don't know if you can see it, I'm just putting it like this, drew a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge on the back, because if you look at the, if you are at the Brooklyn Bridge. Underneath the Brooklyn Bridge is a separate entrance. And that entrance, they don't really allow you, but they don't want you in there. But if you go there and you bring bags of food like I've done in the past, I leave it on a table. If you can't talk to them, they don't want to talk to you. And here, this is pictures of Vinod, I think. Yeah, they don't want to talk to you. You don't hear anything about them. I mean, the point is that they're our society's. The thing that bothers me the most is that they are society's embarrassment. But we don't, and I don't want anybody to think I'm being selfish, especially Sanam, because Sanam is part of what's happening in New York. I am all for helping everybody. But when you take new immigrants into your state because Governor Abbott and that piece of junk, Rick DeSantos, throws them out of their state, what happens to our own hungry people who have needs? These people's needs are not being met. And that is more important than helping other people. First, we have to get our own people's needs met. We have hungry living in the streets. And when you, Vin, I'm going to take you, and I really very rarely take people. I'm going to take you to a place in right near the bridge. And even if it's just the two of us, I don't care who goes. And I want you to see how sad this is right under the bridge. If they didn't block it, sometimes they block it. And I honestly feel that this immigration thing that's happening now, these people, they're bringing them in off buses, and I understand we should be helping people, but we're not helping our own first. That has to be a first. Before we can help others, we have to help our own. These people that are coming in are getting apartments or places to live. These people are not being housed in shelters where the material is being stolen. And I really have a problem with this. And I've already made my thoughts known to the mayor and everybody else. The mayor is trying to send them to another place. Now they're talking about, which is unfair to the immigrants. He wants to send them to Roosevelt Island, which is not a place to hold anybody who's human. But he doesn't know what to do with all these people. So some other states are going to be accepting them. But we still won't take care of our homeless because our homeless is our embarrassment. Now, I didn't hold this meeting today so Lynn can give her gripes about New York. There hasn't been a mayor here yet that I've liked. I spit on Bloomberg's shoes because I couldn't stand him. What a jackass he was. I had a thing with Eric Adams already when I was just fighting for a room for Lynn's kids to have that other conference. And we wound up in the Marriott Hotel Vineyard when you came that time. He was not Eric Adams, the one that came before him, Bloomberg. Eric Adams is doing everything that I consider wrong. Crime has gone up since he took place. So to me, this man is only hurting us even more. They were about to close 18 soup kitchens, but God bless the Homeless Coalition. And that affects you and I, Sanam, and Tawfiq. The Homeless Coalition really, really put up a fuss. And they had all kinds of people in the street, young and old, and all kinds of people fighting this. So our soup kitchens are basically okay. Shelters are still not okay. I donated a lot of time to Letitia James, who is now our Attorney General. And I did email with her this week. She did say, she said that they don't have enough places to put all these people. She felt the same way as I did about the immigration. She said, sure, we want to help people, but we're not helping our own. And that's a big thing of hers. Her new slant is going to be how about helping our own first. And that's what I think we have to do. Then we're more than willing to help others. Today's meeting was called, I know I got carried away already, but that's me. It's just to talk a little bit about World Hunger Day. And I think that, and here you'll see the opening page of New York Cares. We all of the projects at Sanam that Tawfiq and I do. And I'm going to take you, most of my projects now will be virtual, and I'll explain that at the end of the meeting. But I met wonderful people like Sanam because of this. Tawfiq, we don't need that page on now, honey.
Okay.
Okay, so here in New York, if you live in New York, you go to New York Cares and you donate and you volunteer for projects. I have met the most incredible people because of this, like Sanam, because there are people in New York who we all work because we have to work to survive. But we still have time despite the work. This girl works for herself. She has her own apartment, but she still has time to volunteer. Whether it's virtual or not, that's not my business, and I don't care. She volunteers. She worked with me in Opportunities for a Better Tomorrow, which is all virtual. And one of the givers, we have a lot of people that give in New York. That's the one thing I will say. I think we are probably the best volunteer state that there is. There are people out all over the street, and you'll see more because we'll do a project when you're here, Vinod. So today's meeting was really about what are we doing on World Food Day. I don't care about don't misunderstand me. Of course I care about World Food Day. I care about what you do for the other 364 days of the year. If you come in and you only help that one day a year, there's something wrong with that picture. So, like Saddam does soup kitchens, I've done soup kitchens, Tawfiq does soup kitchens. For that one day of the year, I'm not going to be doing very much, and I'll explain that why after we finish at the very end of our meeting. But I will be giving sandwiches out locally. I've decided not to travel anywhere. And I will be giving sandwiches out. There's a church like right near McDonald's, and we can actually walk to that church. There are a lot of poor people there. So we will walk to that church and we will distribute food and water because that's the best I could do in the circumstances. Now, my interest, and now the most important thing is for us to be able to take pictures of whatever we are doing. This is a way where we will not only get people volunteering and people sponsoring, but it's a way to alert the other people in this world. Not that Lynn's kids are so great, but that, hey, if we're doing this, you can do it too. So Tawfiq, yeah, okay, I just want to see everybody's faces. So what I'm just going to ask is Vinod, I don't have to ask him what he's doing. He does something every day. And Vinod, I'm going to leave you for the very end to talk a little bit about Zangarun, but not till the end of the thing. Okay, Hasnain, do you have any plans for World Food Day, which is Monday? Sanam, we have a meeting Monday, Saving Souls Women's Network, where we'll be discussing a couple of things. Mohammed, do you have any idea if you're doing anything?
Okay, thank you. I would like to say that I have a plan to talk about hunger with disadvantaged people, and people and the women and the child and the man, to give the knowledge about hunger.
Wonderful.
Gathering somewhere gathering, and to give some speech and to about the hunger, why people are suffering nowadays, what should we do from our point of view, and what we can do for the poor peoples. And by raising funds, we would like to distribute some foods to the gathered people, so that they can understand the meanings of hunger, and they can really understand why we are gathering here, why people are facing hungry, and what can we do for them actually. This is my plan for Hunger Day.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to Christine. Okay, go ahead, Christine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, good evening.
Good evening.
I talk to children about hunger, and I provide them some food. Thank you.
I want you to, Christine, take pictures. Everybody, even just talking to people and you're doing nothing else, please take pictures of what you're doing for the hungry, because what we're going to do is we're going to put it not only on Lynn's kids, but we're going to distribute it to give other teachers and other people an idea. And we're going to make a whole video of this to show at the UN meeting. And that to me is more important. Let's give some of these people an idea. We have no clue as to what we're doing. I don't mean it that way, but I mean, we're out there. We're not professionals in any of this. We're all going to stumble. We're all going to fall, pick ourselves up. We're here to help everybody. And that's what I want. There are so many people with so much talent in New York and all over the world who get out there and who really do this stuff. And New York Cares, I always mention them. New York Cares does this every single day. They have all kinds. I'm going to introduce you, Vinod, to somebody from New York Cares who's going to talk at the meeting, at the UN meeting. that you will love. And it's, you know, if we don't give to others, whether it's food or it's educating women or it's talking or it's teaching, it doesn't matter. We have to give to we have to help other people. Sanam, do you have any plans? I know you work all the time.
Yes, well, actually, the coalition is going to be going around. And they go,
Favorite, the homeless coalition?
yes, Coalition Coalition for the Homeless is called.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I have to say, another organization that I learned about through New York Cares is called Rescuing Leftover Cuisine.
Yes.
Because so much of what is, at least in the United States and perhaps in other countries like Bangladesh and I think France, you mentioned, Mohammed, sometimes the issue isn't the amount of food, it's getting it to the people. There is so much waste. And I don't know if they do it through New York Cares. There used to be a breakfast program.
St. Bart's.
Near there.
Right.
It's right near there. It was on Tuesdays. And what they would do, they would make sandwiches, but also they would have near by hotels where they would have food and they would have conferences and there's always leftovers. So they would be able to package it and reuse it and then reserve it the next day. And you know, even one, aside from being able to alleviate hunger that way, just the waste, just the notion of
waste. Yes, it's waste.
There's so much, and you know, if there can be better coordination of getting even like on individual level. I remember my mother, I think, said she went into Panera Bread.
Yeah.
And they were tossing out a lot of their bread.
That's terrible.
That they, you know, they couldn't use, I don't know exactly, you know, their protocol and how long they keep it. And it, for those of you who don't know, Panera Bread, it's like a deli shop, sandwich, salad shop. And, you know, they may make it that day. I don't know how long they may make their breads, for example, that day. I'm not sure exactly how long they can keep it, but that's just one example. And, you know, if there can be better coordination to get it to, and that's part of it. There's definitely, you know, funding and more equity and healthier food options. Also, like food deserts is one thing where like you only have, you know, unhealthy options or not that many options available. You know, that's also another thing in terms of hunger, like having it be nutritious food.
That's right.
That's also something I think New York City can, for example, do better on. But yeah, no, I think I hope people, you know, even on the individual level, you know, kind of keep in mind what we all can do to, you know, I know, Lynn, you were mentioning shelters. That's a whole different issue. I think, you know, that, and, you know, I remember there was a survey, they used to do it around February because they figured if someone was outside in the winter at night, they usually would be homeless. And if you found someone, or if you ran into someone and you offered them shelter, so many people would say no because of the safety issues, the protocols, and that some of the shelters exist. People would rather be outside. You know, and that says a lot in terms of just security, because shelter may be a key way for them to get a meal as well and get access to a meal.
They don't need a shelter to get a meal. They can get a meal by going into St. Bart's. There's also another thing that I don't know if Sanam knows about it.
St. Peter,
Yeah, I don't know if you know, do you know Cuisine? Cuisine is a member of New York Cares, an old friend of mine. We work together in a million projects. Now, Kai runs a project.
Oh, Kai, yes, I do.
Yeah, Victor. Vinod, I'm going to invite him to the meeting so that you can meet him. This guy is fascinating.
Yeah.
He runs a program in the financial district where he goes from restaurant to restaurant. He collects all the food that just what you were saying, this feeds into what you were saying. And it's also run by New York Cares. Here we go again. and he collects all the leftover food so he can bring them to soup kitchens so that they have more to do. It, to me, and I said it to him a million times, it's an amazing project, because this way, why should they throw good food that can still be eaten by people who really need it in the garbage? Another program that New York sponsors is, I think it's called Second City, but that's not part of New York Cares. What this program does is they go out on their own trucks. And the reason I know is because I volunteered for every one of these companies. They go out on their own trucks, and I tried that twice. I slid off the truck in the snow, and I was hysterical laughing. And Ira was with me at the time, and I forced him to go. He said, "Look where you're taking me. Other people go to the movies on dates, and we're going on a truck." And we went on the truck. I slid off the truck in the snow, but it was so, we went to restaurants, we collected food. We took that food, we brought that food to St. Bart's. St. Bart's was taking it to distribute. That's why St. Bart's is so familiar to me. St. Bart's is taking it to distribute to other soup kitchens so that somebody could be there. Also, another place in New York, which I never introduced Tawfiq to. Tsunami, you really need to go here. It's in the upper 70s. It's a church. It's called All Souls Church.
Yes, Monday
Uh-huh.
nights, I think, right?
Let
I
me
heard about this.
explain
Yeah, I
why
heard.
I'm saying All Souls. Tawfiq has never been there. All Souls Church is sponsored by very wealthy people. It's a church for the rich and the famous. Nevertheless, this wonderful church, this amazing church, has a soup kitchen, and they don't call it a soup kitchen. They call it service with dignity. And when the volunteers come in, they don't thank, they thank the volunteers for coming. You get a 2-minute speech. Thank you. It's very nice. But here, if you feel like you can't listen to it, first I was annoyed because they're giving me rules. I've volunteered everywhere all over New York, and you're giving me rules. When I heard their rules, I almost cried. They said, number one, if you can't look at the people in the eye when you're serving them and say, "God bless you" and "thank you," you don't belong. Please leave right now. Number two, you don't make them feel that you're better than you. If you feel that you're better than them, please leave right now. Then all of a sudden the anger went away. Number three, you can sit, you should be sitting after you're serving at a table with them and talking to them as if they're your colleagues and your friends. If you can't, leave now. Number four, do you feel that you can live up to these rules? Well, about 3 people left because they didn't want to sit with these people. They were good enough to serve these people. They didn't want to sit with them as if they had the scarlet letter. Of course, I didn't leave. You know, that I would never leave. But they called it service with dignity. And what I loved is on every table, they had a vase with flowers, pitchers with milk, and no one, Leah, no one left hungry, and no one left feeling that they were in worse shape. They left from there. First of all, they ate a hot meal. They got a choice. They got a choice of, and when I was there about 8 to 10 times. They got a choice of either chicken, hot chicken, not sandwiches, hot chicken or turkey with vegetables and rolls and this and that and the next thing. And because they had very rich constituents who donated. The funny thing to me is that these rich constituents who are donating weren't there for the soup kitchen. But that's not my business. My business is, if they gave their money, that's good enough for me. I'll give my time. And when you sat with these people who just looked at you, there wasn't a person there. It was not that the people have to come up on a food line. That in itself is degrading. We have a thing in the Bowery where you have to get online with 500 people and hope that the food lasts. That's degrading. But here you're served. People like younger people like Sanam would be chosen to walk around as waiters and waitresses. There's a man who plays the piano for them. And they serve with dignity. Everything is done with dignity. And before they leave, they say, "Come again, have a good night." This was on Monday nights. I think they still have it. And college students come in. I think they want service credit, or whatever, for whatever reason they're coming. They come in to help too. So between Lynn's kids, New York Cares, and Saving Souls Women's Network, and the college students, we had too many volunteers. So I was wondering what are they going to do with the other volunteers. He said, just sit down and talk to them. So for some reason, youth makes them feel younger.
Yeah.
So what I did, they wanted me, because I think everybody else was so young that they could walk back and forth 1,000 times. And this was still about 10, 15 years ago. They wanted me to walk around and talk to them and be like a hostess with the mostest. And so I walked around and I had Uncle Willie's Soup Kitchen with me, and I have a few other books that I gave them. You know, me, if I go to a place, I always donate. And by the time I left there, I decided that's where I really want. If anything ever happened to me, that's where I would want to be. They didn't ask for proof if you live in the area. They didn't tick you with the thing like you have to check the numbers, like when you come into a soup kitchen. They didn't do anything like that. What they did is they treated you with dignity. You were treated like you were going into a hotel dining room. There was a woman who met them at the door, who meets you at the door and takes you to a table. From that point on, you go to the table and you sit, and people felt like they had to get up. No, yes, they ask them, what would you like? Or there's already a pitcher of water on each table, a pitcher of milk for those who don't want water, and a pitcher is, in the summer is iced tea, in the winter there's hot coffee. So, and they get dessert too. In the Bowery Mission, you have to pray that you could live to dessert, because not only is it a terrible area, but it's a very impoverished area. And I'll take you to that too, so you can see the difference. You know, in all of these places, you see people who come in like they're looking down, but by the time they leave a place like this place, like All Souls, they're smiling. They're smiling because they feel like human beings. And that's the beauty of somebody like Vinny Barhanka and Lynn's kids and Saving Souls. We're not here to claim that we're better. We're not better. I'm sure we all started. We faced hardships of poverty in our own ways. The point is that we make them feel good about themselves. And if I do nothing else in my life, that will be my mission. Will be to make other people feel, hey, look at me, I can do this. And look, this person cares. And you know, I went back for 10 weeks, I think it was. And then the weather got very cold. So it was hard to, you know, for transportation, years and years and years ago. And even Ira, who really was very lazy in his own right, I love him to pieces, but he loved going there because he was like a chef. He helped them cook and he did that stuff. And he said, what a wonderful way to help other people. And that to me was the best experience. Look, I ran the soup kitchen, the village soup kitchen for 3 years. And let me tell you, that's some hopping place. That's they have mostly Chinese people there, you know, that they give to. But it was not like this. They weren't treated with dignity. But they had the food pantry too, which was wonderful. They were treated very well. They got to take home bags of food and everything like that. But in this church, so totally different, because people were made to feel like they mattered. And if we do not, and the Homeless Coalition, let me not put just what Sanam said, let me never put them down. They run projects every Saturday night. They have the truck. I've been on there about 10 times and slid and fell too. The truck goes to Chinatown. The truck goes up in upper parts of Manhattan. It goes everywhere. And I think that the most beautiful part of that is that the truck services, I think, the 5 boroughs, and they help everybody. So to me, whatever you do, whether it's giving clothes or having a talk, it's better than doing nothing. Now, whatever you're doing that day, just try to take a few pictures, because this way we can make a teaching video, which we can put online as a free course that Mohammed Hasnain and I are going to teach, which will start probably in the end of October. I'm not ready to start right now for other reasons. So let's take videos of everything we do Monday, because we are going to be teachers. We are going to, only free courses, we're going to teach the average person. Doesn't have to be a teacher. I don't care if you raise bricks. Well, we're going to be teaching everybody how to help other people. And I remember a gentleman who I knew a long time ago who used to say to me, You're like an iron lady. Women in my country don't do things like that. I said, well, maybe women in your country are too busy having your children and listening to orders that you're giving them. You know, I think that the most wonderful part of all is that we have to do whatever we can do, whether it's teaching or not. Before anything else happens, or I have to say, my friend Leah has been sick for a long time, and she isn't talking like she used to talk because she really can't. But she does wonderful projects. She works with this place, which is like a thrift place, and she donates her time to this, to that, to the next thing. And someday when she will be able to talk, she will tell us about the wonderful projects that she does. Okay, Vinod, I'd like you to break a little bit with, talk a little bit about Sangroon. Just not a long thing, but a little bit about Sangroon.
Oh, yes. Sangroon is a village near my city of Pune. And upstream of my city is a lake from where we get our drinking water. You know, Sangroon has a population of only 250 families. It's a very small village, 250 families. 40 of those families are fishermen. So they are fishing in the lake, which provides drinking water to us. So about 7 years back, they noticed that the plastic that they throw in the village is going into the lake. And that is the drinking water supply for Pune city, which has a population of 6 million people. So the villagers called us. They know that I am one of the persons working with waste plastic management. And we gave them a talk. We gave them some basic training, which is only 90 minutes. It's not a long training program, just 90 minutes orientation. And they did something. They decided that they will not pollute the water supply to Pune city. And so in every one of those 250 homes, what they did was they kept the dry plastic aside in bags. And every month we would send a vehicle and we would buy all that plastic. What we do is when the village brings the plastic over there, we wait and we buy it and we recycle it into 70% of it is recycled into new plastic products and 30% goes to create some kind of fuel which is there. So that fuel includes combustible gas and there is a liquid called as pyrolysis oil. Plastic changes into these. So Sangroon is special because the lead was taken by some 40 women of Sangroon. And the village chief happens to be a lady named Sita. Her name is Sita Tai Mankar. She is the village chief. And she went home to home in all the 250 homes. And wow. she taught them how to keep the plastic aside. Basically, they have to make sure that the plastic kept aside is dry and clean plastic. So when they keep this dry and clean plastic aside, you can see our children's program in schools here. So something like this the villagers do. And 70% of the plastic is changed to these granules, which you can see. So Sangroon is successful. Because of that, we are in 6 villages now. And the latest, Lynn, is that the government of Maharashtra has asked us to create a network of 103 rivers. And wow. to save those rivers, we'll have to have these plastic programs, you know, what was shown just now to you. I will conclude with this in Pune city, where I live now. There are 172,000 families which are collecting plastic. They are volunteers. And every week they are collecting 2.5 tons of plastic. This is one school is collected. This will be about 70 kilograms.
Wow.
So you can see our vehicle at the back. And now in 4 of the cities, the government have signed an MOU with us. And one of the cities, Jalgaon, it is called. Literally the name Jalgaon means water city. We are training 20 school teachers every Saturday. And this will go on in perpetuity. Means still every single teacher knows how to teach this in their schools. So we have an exit policy that we shouldn't stay there. No, once the teachers take over, we'll exit from there. What is the importance of collecting all this plastic? Plastic is spreading all across our rivers and oceans. and destroying the phytoplankton there. These are small unicellular creatures with chlorophyll in them. And if, just the area of my hand, if so much plastic is floating on the water, a few million phytoplanktons will die below it. A few million phytoplankton. Oh, this is how we approach the village. We sit in the dry river and we talk to the villagers, and we are listeners basically. We don't come with solutions. We ask them to solve their problem, and we only facilitate it wherever wherever required. This is a photograph from 2013 when we had gone to the village in that river Agrani. Of course, now this is a different village. My talk about the village which has been cleaned up by the woman led by Sita Mankar, that is already over. I think some of the earlier pictures which Sitofi remembers, he's been placing them before you. There's a lot to share, but I haven't heard enough from Mohammed and Leah and everyone. Oh, this is one of the first dams that we built. This dam
one
cost,
thing.
Yeah.
One question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
So when you recycle plastics and make combustible gases or combustible wells, and my question is that when you are converting these plastic particles into such usable things, do they make any gases like carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide, which is causing air pollution?
No, not at all, because the machine in which we are doing this is up to the European standards. So that machine manufactured in my city by a scientist who's a friend of mine, Nilesh Inamdar. Recently, it was purchased by the Netherlands, and they tested the 200 kilos, 200 kgs a day test machine is given to them. They test it for 6 months for pollution. When we process 200 kilograms of plastic to recycle it, it gives the pollution equivalent to 1 car. So 200 kilograms of plastic comes from 2,000 families.
Wow.
So if in my city, if you go to a place where the 2,000 families are living, nowadays they own about 2 cars per family.
Wow.
So in that you will have at least 1,000 cars.
Wow.
So when they process that plastic, that's like adding only 1 car pollution.
Wow.
But if that plastic were burnt, or if it were treated in substandard machines, see, the machine in which it is being treated is a world-class machine. I can just write down Pat Pert Techno. If you, I've written 3 words there. If you Google this, Pat Pert Techno Private Limited. So you will find all the technical details of the machine which we are using. That machine is a cutting edge world-class machine. So what we cannot say that there is no pollution, definitely, but that's the best we have right now. So the research is going on. So we try to make sure that, look, let's go to at least what is the best that we have. So if you Google this PatPert, it's Techno, sorry, Teknow, not PEK, Teknow, PatPert Techno Private Limited. If you Google that, you will find that that is a company which is our associate. And the name of the scientist is Nilesh Inamdar. Even if you Google these together, you will find all the technology is explained over there. And companies like PepsiCo and Coca-Cola, they are having a lot of plastic waste. So their in-house plastic waste is currently being treated by this company. What does it say?
Web page not available.
I'm trying to Google it.
No, I think you must have used PEK.
Okay.
It is
Tell me more,
TEK. Just try that.
Okay. Write it down again with the link. Write the whole link.
I'll write it down. Just 1 minute.
Okay.
Where is the chat? 1 minute. I'll write it down fully.
Right, then you go.
Just 1 minute. Pat Pert Techno Private Limited. Just Google this. This is not the website. Just put it into the Google search engine.
Oh, okay. Now it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay, I will do it.
If you place it in the Google search engine,
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
This is very interesting, and now I'm going to just discuss the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
And it's 3 minutes. At first, I want to tell Sanam we have a meeting Monday. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing for the homeless, for the World Food Day on Sunday. So we have our usual women's meeting, and Leah, we have our usual women's meeting on Monday. Hasnain, I would like to meet your wife on Wednesday so we can go ahead and do lesson 2 in the project that we're starting. If Wednesday is good for her, we will meet.
Okay.
Okay.
Hasnain,
Okay.
did you hear me?
Okay, you can meet on Wednesday.
Okay, great. And as far as the kids go, we will involve them in other projects. We'll show them at the meeting in December. So that goes without saying. These kids are fabulous. Okay, so now for the end of our meeting. I don't want anybody to be absolutely hysterical. I don't want anybody to say, oh my God, but my dear friend Cancer has visited me again. It's not the worst thing in the world. I'm going to have the same chemo that I had before, but I will have to have surgery at the very end. It's not going to stop me from my hunger plights. It's not going to affect the December meeting. The only difference you'll see in me is I'll have a wig on and I won't have my real hair. It doesn't affect my. Okay.
Yeah,
It doesn't affect my work. It just will affect my body, because chemo kills.
You will be good, sweetheart.
I know.
I just want to remind everyone to send any videos they make or pick, and I'm planning to do a video clip with all those pics and videos you sent, plus all the stuff we
please don't forget videos or he'll drive me crazy. Please. I want videos from everyone.
So, it will be published and sent to everyone and widely on the net on World Food Day, I guess, on October 17th, right? The World Day Food.
Monday, October 17th.
Yes. So I asked again, please, Dino and everyone to send if they have recent pics and stuff for this.
There's always sending pictures. That's why you so
Lynn, you're still here?
Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I just have, and I have something I never had in my life before. I have somebody that I call a psalm man. It's a friend of Sudhaka Malvi, who I'm still looking for him. No thanks to you, Vinod. I can't find him. I had Kapil try to look for him. He couldn't find him, but he found a friend of his who sends me psalms, relaxing, wonderful psalms. And without my psalm man, I would not get through a day. So I know everybody wishes me well. Don't worry. I'm a very strong lady and I have no intention of giving up. The battle is just an uphill climb. And I will feel better, Mr. Hasnain, if you can find Lynn's light. Somewhere, you see, look at that gorgeous smile. Somewhere in your somewhere, has to be somewhere in your house, because that's my favorite poem of all. Okay? So try to look for it.
Lynn, if you want, we close it. I ask all brothers and sisters here to raise their hand and pray for Marlene. She will start her chemo session on Thursday. And it will be
Never, Christy, don't worry.
Never. Be a hard session. She will be connected to to all that stuff for 5 hours and 30 minutes.
5.5 hours. It doesn't matter. I do my best writing. I come. They know not to bother me.
So to be short, brief, and direct, to raise your hand and pray for Lynn. Yeah. So
Lynn, I will say a prayer which speaks about.
Please.
It speaks about removing all obstacles.
Okay, brother, go ahead.
Go ahead. I got plenty of those. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Beyond all obstacles, into the world of peace.
Oh my God, Allah Almighty.
That touches.
soon my beloved wife will have again a new chemotherapy sessions, and she had that before, and we both went the race to. She was cancer free for the first time. She did those chemo sessions, and now the cancer is back, but she is stronger. She is so patient, and what I love in my baby is that she is stronger and never ever shows that she had any problem. Bless her. Let this cancer get away and have a speedy recovery to my beloved Lynn. I mean,
Shukran, Habibi. Okay, so,
I mean,
okay, so, we're gonna keep up with this. Please send pictures. Sanam, I'll see you Monday. And Leah, I hope to see you Monday. And Christine, I hope to see you Monday. And Vinod, we'll talk as soon as I get the date. And Hasnain, I will see you on Wednesday.
thank you.
Okay, love you all. Bye.
Yo,
Bye.
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 Wonderful.